A warm welcome after that short commercial break. This is myself, RJ Raman, every Sundays 2 till 4 on the RJ Raman Show, exclusively on Akash Radio 1323 AM Leeds and worldwide on www.akashradioleeds.co.uk. So we're back again because we've got a very interesting guest who is joining on the show today. Like every Sundays, I'm always in conversation with a singer, artist, music producer and a film actor from the Punjabi Music Film Industry. And today I've got a very interesting producer. He's been around in the industry for a while, but he has been off scene for a while now. I mean, he's making his comeback now after almost 14 years. 14 years, a massive long time he's been, in the music scene. And I remember some of his albums back in the days, especially my college days, in fact, in my high school and college days. There was an album titled as Bassline and Groove Control. I mean, Groove Control was an album which I would say I used to listen to the Mukra track, what was with the vocals of Amar Arshi. I mean, it was a great collab, with this producer and Amar Arshi himself. And I mean, it's going to be a very interesting show because this is almost his first ever interview he's doing on the radio. So it's kind of creating history now, right? So I've got the man himself, Shin Hayer. I mean, formerly known as Shin GC. I mean, he's made his comeback now with a brand new track titled as Teri Photo. I mean, alongside DDS and the legendary, one of the most missed artists, I would say, of all time of UK Bhangra music, Kaka, Bhaniawala. I mean, this is creating history now, right? So Shin GC, warm welcome on the show. How you doing, bro?
Hey, Raman, thank you very much for having me. Yeah, I'm doing very well. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. I mean, Shin, I would say your former name, Shin GC, a name was been in the music scene since the 2000s. I remember some of your garage music and, especially your albums Groove Control and Bassline. The Mukra track, massive tune back in the days. So, it's been almost 14 years now since you've been off scene. What's Shin here been up to?
Firstly, Raman, thanks very much. Actually, it was a wonderful introduction there. Firstly, first of all, to everyone. Thanks sincerely for having me on Akash Radio Leeds. I really appreciate it. And Raman, I've really been enjoying the reaction videos. To see when I think you were probably I'm sure we'll talk about the new track.
Yeah.
But when you were playing the track and you were one of the first, the reaction videos almost went viral. I had some really great comments. So thank you for that love. Thank you for that support.
It had to be done.
I'd expect no less from Leeds. It's amazing place, and I'm always up and down, and I'm sure we'll bump into each other. But trust me, guys, to everyone from Leeds. Thank you for having me on Akash Radio. So on to kind of Shin GC, and where I've been. Yeah, and absolutely Mukra. Jinna pyar mainu shrotyan ne ditta on that track. I'm so humbled, so blessed, and to be honest, I kind of was in a bit of a bubble because mainu aap nahi pata laga until I actually took a step out of the scene.
Yeah.
How well that track did. I can give you some history about that. Some of your newer, younger listeners, shayad na unhone wo gana sunya hoga.
Bilkul.
But hopefully you'll give it a whirl sometime soon.
Definitely. Remember that track. It was massive at the time. Having Amar Arshi on the vocals. It was mega.
So that's probably a really great example of the way that I work. And look, if you want to start off with kind of my journey and how I actually got to Mukta, it happened an album before that, and it happened a few kind of, I guess, stages before that as well. Mera jada pehla saaj hai, my first love is Tool. ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਛੋਟੇ ਉਮਰ ਤੋਂ ਕਈ ਭੰਗੜਾ ਗਰੁੱਪਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜਿਆ ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਡੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਗ੍ਰੇਵਜੈਂਟ ਤੋਂ I'm born and bred in Gravesend, so we've got a Bhangra group here called Jugunu Bhangra Group.
Kya baat hai.
And that's where my journey started. And I traveled the world. We went everywhere, and my love was Tol, Bhangra, Algoje, Tumbi, Sarangi, Vajja. Wow. Anything that was that classical, that traditional Sabyacharak Lokpat feel I don't know, Bugju Hove, anything like that. It just made me kind of get closer. मैं जब अपने पंजाबी culture ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ज़्यादा जुड़न लग पिया because of that, you know. And Juggalo gave me a chance to do that. And whilst I back in those days, whilst I started to progress as a musician, and I joined another group in, so I travelled a bit, but I joined another group in Birmingham, Gabru Punjab there. And I played door for those guys. And during, you know, my university years, that's kind of what kept me busy.
So was the music, so was the actual music within your family, or was it something what you brought into the family? Do you have any elders, anyone who actually you grown up looking or being inspired from?
No, my elders were playing songs that I still remember to this day. My dad, who's passed away now, he used to play Bhaniawala.
Wow.
Or there used to be elements of Kirtan, and sort of Vajja. You get very close to listening to those tones and those melodies, and that's a completely different level of musician and expertise, music and expertise. But those things all made a subconscious bit back to you. And I used to love it. I used to love it, especially koi bhi sabyacharak geet hove, ja especially Bhaniawala. I used to love it, and I didn't understand a word what they were saying, but all I understood, all I could really, I love the tune, and it makes you, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਜੋਸ਼ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੂੰ. Yeah, so I'm sure you can relate to that. So the answer is no. I don't really come from a musical family, but our family, we listened to the right kind of music that really just gave me that inspiration.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
And so that's kind of where, so like with the Dole, Mad Dole, then I bought Judy. I started to make my name as a Dolly, and you laugh about Shin GC, but everyone knew me as Steve Hayer, the Dole player.
Wow, Steve Hayer, another name.
I know. I had many names, but so I played for many bands. Then I started to play for just kind of fitting into bands where they needed someone to just basically pick up if someone couldn't make it. So I loved that. It was a really good time for me when going live on stage, because I was used to being live on stage with Juggalo, with Gabru Punjab there, traveling the world, at festivals, folk festivals, and then playing for bands, Bhangra bands in the UK. That was really amazing as well. And it wasn't actually until the first time I actually went to the studio. I was actually, I remember this story. I was playing Dole for Juggalo at Plumstead Community Centre. Still remember the venue. And
which year was this?
Don't ask me for dates.
We need to go through the memory lane. We need to know the archives.
Dusting off the old cobwebs. But they had settled all the rewaj hunda siga jadon vyah te jana. They would either have a DJ or they'd have lots of times they'd have a band, live band. No, ajkal the DJ chalda hai.
Bilkul.
And at that show they had the Safri Boys.
Oh yes.
And I've been the Safri.
Yeah.
And I remember Bhutta Jagpal, who obviously he's playing the keyboards, and he says, he goes, I've just seen you play Dole and that. He goes, can I take your telephone number? And everyone knew Bhutta Jagpal if you were in the industry.
Oh yes, definitely.
He said, can I take your telephone number? I'm working on a new project. I just need some Dole.
Wow.
And lo and behold, I end up in Planet Studios. First time I've ever gone into a recording studio, and I'm playing Dole on the sound of B21, brand new album. They're starting off, and claim to fame, you've got your name there, it's all by Steve Hayer.
Wow.
I haven't listed on the cover. So little memories like that, amazing. Got me to kind of get myself into production. First album that I actually produced, working on musically, where I was kind of really heavily involved on, was an album called it was called Amalas the album. and the title song was called Rati Tu Jagaya Di Hanju Aana Tenda.
Wow ji, wow. Kya baat hai.
And that was a massive hit in India, like massive. It took Archie to a completely different level.
And I would say, I mean, that time, I think Amar Archie was one of those vocalists in the UK what have had a massive contribution at the time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It felt like a lot of people wanted to use his voice. He just had that chamkila feel.
Yeah.
And he sang some chamkila songs, and people loved that, and the producers picked up on it. And they kind of, you know, got him to re-sing a lot of the chamkila songs. They got him to re-sing a lot of the kind of their style, you know, new songs. I mean, you know, working with a singer, there's producers work with singers in a different way. I mean, that kind of really nicely brings me on to the way that we kind of worked with Amarachi and, you know, and Mukra. So Mukra was written by a friend of mine who lived in Southall. We sat down, we made a composition, and whilst I was working on the Archie album, I said, you know, look, you know, here's a new song. Can you make it work? Let's see what it sounds like. And he was fine with it. He recorded it. He really enjoyed. I mean, I enjoyed working with him. He enjoyed working with me.
Wow.
Quite an easy sort of working relationship. He recorded that and a few other of my tracks, and got the music kind of all a lot of pre-production was done. A lot of ideas were already throwing around Mokra, and that got released, got picked up by Saregama in India, and released in Kiss Records in the UK, and did really well.
Wow, fantastic. So I mean, that's I would say the journey so far. I mean, now you've come back after 14 years with a banging track. I would say Teri photo alongside DDS. And mentioning a massive iconic name, Kaka, Bhaniawala. I mean, tell us about this track, how this track got put together.
Yeah, no, so once, I mean, yeah, it's been 14 years, and I know you're kind of referring to it as a comeback, but I've been working in the music scene, but doing a lot of ghost production, and I've worked with sort of Mangi Ma, Bulgar, Sidhu. I've got a few others that probably you don't want to mention right now because they're ghost tracks, but so I've kept myself busy.
Yeah.
But you know, I've always had some of the stuff that I recorded many years ago to hand, if you like, and it never kind of felt like the right time to release. And you know, admittedly, it's a lot to do with my own personal preference. I was kind of doing other things, so I just felt that it was the right time for me to get back into things, and going back to some of the stuff that I had recorded. I listening back, thinking, right, what would be the first one, and it was a poignant choice. I think, you know, with Kaka, you know, nearly 10 years now. You know, a lot of love and respect for that guy. You know, him passing away. I thought, you know, there's no better way to actually pay tribute than to, you know, start my next journey, but to use his voice for the track that he sang for me. I mean, a lot of people have actually asked me about that. Where did these come from? You know, have you bought them? Very rarely. You know, there's producers that buy vocals. Someone who kind of sits with a singer. There's a process where we get a song written, or the song has already been written. Composition happens, and that's a combination sometimes of the singer and the producer. And we recorded this track and a few others in a place called Sultan Studios. A lot of producers are going to be very familiar with that place in Fagwana. Wow. So and it was a really good, you know, really good working relationship. It's really real pleasure to work with.
Fantastic. I mean, surprisingly, I mean, like you mentioned, I mean, I've had a few of the listeners, I mean, a few people asking me that, is this actually official, you know, track what Kaka, Bhaniawala and yourself have worked on, or was it just like a mashup? But surprisingly, it's official. I mean, tell us, I mean, that experience working with the man himself, you know, tell us, you know, a bit of the memories working with him.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. And I can see, because there's kind of Bodnia type in the track.
Yeah.
So the main track, so there's a big track that I was looking to get sung. More details about that another time. But he was one of the singers that we featured, or I asked to feature. Meri jidda mang sigi ki I wanted him to kind of be one of the voices on that track. Whilst we were recording that, I also said, Fadi, look, let's work on another one. And there was an idea, combined idea, around Teri photo. And I said, look, I love this. I love the way it's going. Do you mind kind of doing some boliyan or, something a bit kind of bodily type, both chalda hunda siga, and people can catch on to it, and it makes it the song a bit more catchier. And you can hear, and I've purposefully put some of the stuff that he said in the studio in the track, so for people, fans of Kaka, they can actually listen to him, as kind of as part of the thought process. At the beginning, he's saying, Shin Bhadi, je kudi naal khadi hove te fir ghum ke taan ga hoga. So I'm kind of saying to him, I'm saying, I want this tera piece, to just kind of swing a bit. And he came out with an amazing result. I mean, he delivered it in such a brilliant way. And in the Desi version of the track,
his dialect was pretty strong as well. I mean, like his accent, his way of pronunciation, and especially the high-pitched voice of his, that was just iconic.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you couldn't touch that. And, and funnily enough, there's even a snippet in the Desi version of the track where he says, you get me to sing the girls' part. Mahi be Mahi, that's obviously a very old song, and he says that, and I'm thinking in the back of my head, you're right, absolutely. I was like, the notes that you can hit, you don't need a female voice. You're an amazing singer. You're absolutely a voice. A privilege, just a complete privilege to work with. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Brilliant times, brilliant memories.
Shin, when we look at, many other artists, legendary artists, this track just almost reminds me of when the legendary Sajid Bindrakia passed away as well, and there was some tracks what got released after his death, and it's kind of an emotional moment in a way at the same time, but even though Kaka Bhainiawala is not with us now, but we kind of, it's kind of like an emotional moment in a way, like you've released a track, even though he's not here with us, and it's just like it's just a moment to remember him, like a memory or something,
Yeah, no, absolutely. And look, and one of the things that's always kind of been on the top of my mind, and is that I deliver something that represents our Punjabi culture, represents how great he was. I mean, his vocals, speak for themselves. I didn't want to do sort of anything that could potentially try and, take away focus from his voice, put rapping on, or, you've heard some of my other garage stuff many, many years ago.
Yeah.
I had a hip-hop style one as well, which we released as well. But, people nowadays, if you want to get noticed, do lots of controversial stuff. That wasn't the idea here. This is an amazing singer. This is an amazing person who's given such a contribution to the Bhangra industry.
Yep.
I was lucky enough to have worked with him, and I'm just pleased that I've been able to deliver. And from the initial results and reactions from people, it feels like they're really, really happy with it, and that's all a producer can ask for.
Fantastic, because everyone's loving the track. A lot of people are sharing it, liking it as well, you've got DDS also on the track as well. Tell us how you got to know him as well, and what role does he play in this track?
So DDS has been, I say, when you go to jail, they say, if you get 20 years, that's life. So DDS has been a lifelong friend. I've known him for a long time. Yeah, I've known him for a long time. And this is from my days of Mukra, and he's always been kind of like a support for me and a small function. And, we bounce ideas off of each other all the time. We work on projects all the time. He's got, an award-winning DJ outfit. He knows the scene as it is. I was someone who's very Desi-minded, focused. He's got obviously his Desi elements as well. But it was, I knew that if I was going to come back, I needed support from my brothers. and that's what it was. So there was a lot of guidance. He's, kind of, even in the video, I didn't really, to be honest, he's kind of led those areas. So it's only fair to kind of give him some credit on the amount of help, effort, and direction that he provided for me.
Fantastic. I mean, it's a fantastic track. I mean, complete Punjabi vibes, Punjabi folk. I mean, the video itself is quite colourful as well. I mean, the way it's been shot and the clarity as well. I'm quite amazed the fact, 2019 has brought something very interesting to watch, So, I mean, tell us a bit of video as well. I mean, where was it actually shot, and, tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, no, again, I have to give credit where it's due, and this is all the kind of brainchild of the DDS. Because he, his idea was, look, we've got this great track, we've worked on sort of, getting it together and getting us to this stage. It needs to be represented in the right way, and, it had to be Bhangra, and that's where I come from. That's where my background is: Bhangra, tradition, and he's worked with some video directors. Mender Singh, our director in Ludhiana, he took this project over.
Wow.
And this is what I can deliver. This is what I think this track needs after what you've kind of told me. And it was a very, very open relationship. Yeah, we like this. Showing us pictures of the settings, etc., scenery, and kind of just took off from there. But yeah, I have to say that a lot to do with DDS sort of leading that area.
Wow. I mean, I was amazed when I saw the video. When I saw the actual promo, I thought, man, I need to watch this. What is this all about? This is why a lot of them are now sharing and liking, because it's a complete different thing what we're seeing now in 2019. Because, I mean, yourself, I mean, since the 2000s to now, I mean, there's been a massive, massive change in the music scene. I mean, back then, it was an era where a music video used to be shot in an empty shell with a Mercedes-Benz in the middle with some chicks around, right? So the whole kind of era's changed now. I mean, now it's going to be quite different. I mean, as a perspective of a music producer, I mean, where does the UK Bhangra scene stand for you now? I mean, what are your views on the music, what gets produced now?
I mean, that example. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've done plenty of videos like that as well, and back in my youth, you probably see some of that. And so, that was kind of where we were coming from when we went out with this project. It was, let's not go down that avenue. It's not worked for Shin Hayer before, so why would it work? Or personally, for me, as I want a product that I'd stand by and I'd be happy with. And that's not knocking any other producer. It's just that my background is that Punjabi traditional Dhol, Bhangra. That's my background. That's where I've come from. So that just is really deeply ingrained in me. So when I see videos like that, where you can just sort of watch them अपने सारे परिवार ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਹਿ ਕੇ ਦੇਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ. That's great. That's amazing. And yeah, you just touch on a point there. I think it's quite a hot topic for a lot of people. There's videos out there that are a bit sketchy. I mean, I can honestly say that I saw one just yesterday, and already people are commenting saying, who advises these guys, or guys and girls, and this is not right.
Well, I mean, looking at the scene now, I mean, also mentioning, I mean, this new trend of gangsterism in videos as well. I mean, it's like, is there any form of meaning behind that or anything? It's like, I think, yeah. Yeah, no, I think with that element, you can listen to tracks from 20, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, even longer. Yeah, there's always been in our culture, and even in traditional, any folk kind of culture, there's an element of bigging yourself up, and having some kind of sadari, as we say in Punjabi, or some kind of presence, confidence, however you want to put it. I think this trend, the latest trend, is a lot to do more with the kind of the generation.
I wouldn't say, look, oh, it's wrong and it's not right. I just think it's now in this generation, people are listening. They're more or less singing things that were being sung some time ago, or at least that message, but they're doing it in a new way. But look, in some of these videos, I absolutely don't agree. There's obviously lots of political motive around. There's always political sensitivities around waving a gun around, if you like, or things like that. You've got to be sensible and careful. But then, this is music. It's a way to express your art, and look, sometimes you've got to look at the numbers, the views, the sales, which not important to everyone. But what it does represent is that it's popular music. So that's why it's pop music. And some videos, potentially like mine, they're not fitted or categorized as pop because they're not popular, because they're not following that same trend. And like you say, it's completely different. It's showing different scenes people don't expect to see in today's kind of lineup of gangster, villainified, or some of the more where you've got people dancing around and you think, well, he's talking about honor and respect, and she's dancing, in a inappropriate way, if you like. Yeah. But, it's an interesting industry. But point is that there's the generation that push the popular stuff up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, fantastic. I mean, mentioning the current generation, I mean, there's a lot going on, like, meaning since the social media has been, become a trend, Instagram, Facebook, and, all that. And noticing, I mean, especially there's some generation out there who have actually kept Punjabi folk, Bhangra, as you said, alive in a way by, having these Bhangra dance troupes and stuff. And they do, like, mashups as well, like, on some tracks, and they just post it out there. So I think the actual culture is still there, though. The actual Punjabi culture is still there.
Absolutely. On the other side of that previous point, you're absolutely right. I mean, there's some youngsters, generation, kind of, well, all of all ages and all backgrounds, where people are really pulling together and loving Punjabi Desi culture. I see videos on that all the time, and thanks again to DDS. I've got an Instagram account, and watching these guys kind of on Insta basically promote brand new music. I love it. It's wicked.
Fantastic.
Please follow me, Hayer_Shin _GC. Do a shameless plug there, but
fantastic. But it's glad that you've got social media, because I mean, looking back, if we go back to memory lane again, I mean, there was an era where social media didn't exist. The promotion of music was completely different at the time, and now it's a bit more easier to interact with people across the globe. I mean, you're posting things, and it reaches to the person very quick. I mean, it's like the other day I was quite surprised actually. I mean, the track Mukra, we're going back to again. I mean, Bhaniawala on stage singing it, that is a very, I would say, a proud moment for yourself and also your fans out there who have actually grown up listening to that track, and seeing a generation now on stage, Bhaniawala, singing a few lines itself is a great feeling. I mean, have you actually contacted him regarding this?
No. So it's quite interesting that I've got a quite interesting story around that. So basically, when I was looking to get back into the swing of things and start, getting back into production, I was obviously researching around, well, how, what's the media kind of look like, huh? Yeah. Like the point that you mentioned, Raman, around, how you promote stuff. But now that used to be flavor of the month, huh?
Yeah.
Send your videos out. People used to watch the videos on TV. You used to get your CDs out to record stores, and someone used to be popular for a month or so for the album, and then do a bit of media promotion, etc. Now it's like flavor of the week, and if you don't get out there within a week, forget it. There'll be something else coming. So I wanted to make sure that I knew what I was putting myself up against, and looking at kind of YouTube. Although YouTube, even we had YouTube, but it wasn't like no one would imagine watching a Bhangra video on YouTube, you know.
Yeah.
When I started to look back at some of the videos, and these videos have been posted by fans, or well, generally there's like hundreds of thousands of views. I don't know who's posted these videos, but it's an amazing feeling. So I type in my name, and there'll be some videos come up, and I'm Shin GC, and then you've got Najara, you've got Gypsy or Punjabi Sanja. There's singers Archie, Mangi Mal. We've got lots of tracks out there with views. And I was looking at Mukra, and there was a few comments I was reading, and people have warned me, don't read the comments, but I was reading the comments, and I was actually in that video. They flew me out to India, and they said, let's, be part of the video. It's a massive track. And there's comments about, Parmesh Varma, you are great. Parmesh Varma, you're amazing. This song is great because of Parmesh. And I'm thinking, I knew who Parmesh Varma was. I wasn't like completely out of the scene, but I would never have linked his name to, this song. So I'm thinking, was the director's name Parmesh Varma? Was maybe the director of the film was, or one of the stars. Maybe it's Parmesh. And lo and behold, a few weeks after, still mulling this, and I see a post from someone, and it's Parmesh Varma singing Mukra, and he's singing with a guitar, acoustic.
Yeah, acoustic.
Then, then there's another post come out that he's basically, I think it was in America, he's singing it live on stage. There were 2 tracks that he sang back to back, and they're both Archie tracks. Now, Archie's got a lot of tracks out there, but both of those tracks happen to be ones that I worked on. So I don't know whether he likes the style. So one of them's Del Da Showroom, and one of them's Mukra. So he's singing, these tracks, and I'm thinking, wow, that's amazing. These compositions obviously had a huge influence on, and released on, Mukra was released in Groove Control, that he kind of picked up on. But to be honest, I never really contacted him. I think it's amazing just to know that it kind of, if he's a fan. I did read somewhere that he's a big fan of Amarachi.
Wow.
Mukla apparently is one of his best favourite songs. Who isn't a fan of Amarachi? Amarachi is amazing.
Well, I remember back in my high school days, going back, people like B21, but Bali Jagpal, yourself, and many other producers at the time. Amarachi was a voice what actually had taken the market that time. Like, soon as before Lamber Hussainpuri came in the limelight, Amarachi was an artist who actually, was featured in every form of album.
Yeah, no, I agree. He loved it. He deserved it. And he's really, even to this day, he's very passionate. I spoke to him not so long ago, a couple of months ago actually, and he said, look, we should really work together. We've got a bit of a deadly combination, because I think one of the tracks that we haven't done a video to, but I think it was in Baseline, but it got released, and in India, apparently it's one of those tracks that people know of, but just don't know of, and it's a track called Najara. Listen to it; it's amazing. Hopefully,
wow.
You might be able to play a snippet of it, but it's an amazing track, even if I say so myself. But maybe we'll do a bit of a mashup and remind people about some of the good stuff. Definitely.
Now because you've come with Teri Photo, everyone has this kind of buzz now that we want more music from Shin Hayer. so it would be an absolute pleasure to hear that kind of a track as well. Fantastic. Shin, let's talk about, talking about the social media. There was a time when people used to buy cassettes, CDs from their local music stores, and, now everything is very rapid, especially when it comes to digital platforms like iTunes and Spotify, and, every artist has their music on SoundCloud as well now, and not mentioning YouTube is kind of a platform as well, where you come across, a new thing, this new trend of buying views on YouTube. Do you think this has made a massive impact on the music scene for artists and producers?
Yeah, it certainly has. I didn't. I wouldn't say it's not a good thing around obviously buying views. I mean, firstly, look, I've got a great team behind me, so the reason. Again, it's about having the right people around you that can support you and get your music out in the right places. So I've got Kiss Records, and a massive name. They know what they're doing, and they got my music out to the right places at the right time. And I'm thankful for that. So I'm looking. There's going to be further collaborations with these guys. It's amazing working relationship. So that's really important to me. And look, there are conversations that we have and we have to have, and they seem like very they're uncomfortable conversations. They're around, look, we're in a time now that people are buying fake views, and I know the reason why people are doing it. Artists, it'll probably bore you if I gave you all the details, but having those fake views, it's not just about being able to, bragging rights, if you like. It's not just about saying that I've had 5 million views or whatever. It's certain search terms that I typed into YouTube that will, make your video appear in that space. So if you've got hundreds of thousands of people searching on this one particular keyword all the time, and you invest in those fake views, you're more than likely to appear in that automatically. So it kind of it's an unfair way, if you like, to get to the place where people are searching for new Punjabi songs. Yeah. But it was a conversation we had as a team, and we said, look, we don't want to get involved. We've got if the product if people like the product, and it really does feel like people do like the product, and we've got real views, we've got genuine views. Then we've won. That's success for us. We don't need to have bragging rights that we've got 2 million views or whatever. So it's a sad state of affairs, but what can you do?
It's a very sad situation as well. I mean, at the same time, because it kind of just feels like as if, like I mentioned previously, I mean, there was a time when people used to buy cassettes, CDs, LP records, just due to the fact that they wanted to keep something, there's many lads out there, on Instagram, you must notice, who have actually kept cassettes and CDs as safe and sound, as a more of like a memory or something, or like a more of a archival kind of thing, right? And I mean, looking now, I mean, it just seems like as if that respect, you can't really see that no more because of this whole jaggle what's become of this YouTube views.
I absolutely agree. I mean, don't ever underestimate the intelligence of your of people. Don't ever feel they're the ones who listen to the music. They buy into your way of thinking, and then they also kind of grant you permission to carry on, if you like. And then they say, Shin, it's not working. This is not working. And then who's my audience? Maybe I'll find a new audience, or maybe I'll find a new style. But people are saying to me, look, Shin, what you're doing, as you did a big chain out, we're supporting you. What you're showing is absolutely 100% what should be shown on TV, shown to us, and it should be shown to people who know that area as well. Era as well, because ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਚੇਤਾ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਕਿ ਆਪਣਾ ਇਦਾਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ, ਆਪਣਾ ਭੰਗੜਾ ਸੀ, ਆਪਣਾ ਗਿੱਧਾ ਸੀ, ਆਪਣਾ that kind of toll, all of that ਸਾਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਚੇਤਾ ਕਰਾਇਆ ਗਿਆ. This is lovely, this is great. So point is, don't underestimate if those are the people who kind of pat you on the back and push you in the right direction. Or he that bargain for down there, look at that, you've been pulling a wool over our eyes, mate. That's not good. And that's not. Maybe it's turning a corner. Maybe, I mean, it obviously is turning a corner. We wouldn't be talking about it on radio. I mean, if we wouldn't be talking about it on radio.
Yeah, definitely.
People are aware of it. It's a talking point. So yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, so Teri photo is getting worldwide love, and many have liked it, shared it on the social media. Everyone's loving it, even myself. I mean, it's a fantastic track. I mean, now that you're back, what's next in the pipeline for Shin Hayer, from Shin Hayer now? I mean, tell us what's the next plans of your music?
I mean, like I say, the Dahan, first, I mean, there's two factors. Firstly, the Dahan, I have a love for traditional music, and I love the kind of compositions that are very low-cut, very old school, but I've done music that's quite more modern, and I've worked and done things a bit more, a different style, if you like.
Yeah.
The love I'm getting from Teri Photo, people are saying, look, keep down this route. This route's really good, I think. I mean, I've got a couple of tracks lined up, as I mentioned a bit earlier. Yes, I recorded a lot of my songs, and I continue to. And I do have another track, with Kiss that we're talking around, that we release very soon, and it will. When we release that track, it will feature Kaka Bhaniawala. For me, that is a big track.
Wow.
So I need to get things right and just make sure that it's to the standard that I really want it to be at. So that's next. Let's see. There's obviously a production schedule to get that released. And then there's a few other tracks in the pipeline that I've already kind of got sung. I've been working with singers for some time. I mean, there's a great singer from America, Sajid Sagar, and again, some of the older school stuff he's come out with has been brilliant. So I'll be hopefully doing something dropping with him, and there's a few other offers that have come up, but they're very kind of premature. So nothing just yet that I want to kind of go out on radio and say, but definitely stuff coming in the pipeline, and yeah, we hope to be something kind of big, next.
Fantastic.
Bigger, I should say.
Fantastic. Looking forward to that. So, Shin, it's an absolute pleasure we had you on the show today, and also having you back in the music world. I mean, before we play the brand new track, Teri Photo, once again, I mean, what message do you want to give to your fans worldwide who are tuned in on the show on Akash Radio right now?
Everyone at Akash Radio, thank you so much for obviously having me firstly. And original music, when I say original, music that, well, I guess music that, doesn't have the sort of fake views. That's very difficult for real artists to kind of break through into. But you need to sometimes go out and find those people. If you're having problems finding Teri Photo, it should be very easy for you to just type in Teri Photo rather than your other search terms that you usually use.
Yeah.
If we start to search for artists, or if we start to search for the names of songs, it will probably start to bring down that industry, because people won't need fake views to get to the keywords that people are usually searching. So, please, Jake, listen to the song. Also, please definitely let me know what you think. Let Raman know what you think as well, so you can let me know. And this is a musical journey that the tracks that I put out there will always kind of be special to me, but hopefully they'll be special to everyone who's listening as well. So any advice, anything that you want to hear more of, please feedback.
Fantastic, Shin. Absolute pleasure, and I'm hoping the very best for your music career further, and hoping to have you in the studio next time. We need the man himself in the studio, right?
That sounds amazing. Like I say, Leeds, love Leeds. Next time I'm down, definitely.
Definitely, you'll have to come down. We've got a Vajja here, we've got a Dolki here as well, so you can do a bit of live session for us as well.
All right, and we've got a singer, Raman, obviously yourself. maybe you should put that clip out again.
Oh man, do you know that snippet? I think it's become so historic now.
That was an amazing snippet. Please put that out again.
I will have to do that now.
I just love the way you hear the Mahi ve Mahi bit coming in, and you realise it's Mahi ve Mahi, and you realise you know the words. And you sing them. Fantastic.
Oh, about that. Fantastic, fantastic. Absolute pleasure, Shin. Hoping the very best. And I'm hoping to have you in the studio next time. And yeah, God bless.
Thank you very much.
Yo, that was a live exclusive interview with the man himself, music producer Shin GC, now known as Shin Hayer, back on track on the music scene, and I'm hoping the very best for his further career, because he's been around for a while and he's been off scene for a while as well. So now he's made his comeback 2019 with Teri photo, Kaka, Bhaniawala. I mean, you can't go wrong with the lineup. It's a massive, massive track, and everyone's getting, very, very, intrigued to know what Shin Hayer is going to be bringing next now, because, this track itself, the video, the music, and also talking about the vocals as well, you cannot go wrong with the whole concept behind this, keeping the Punjabi culture, Punjabi roots alive, man. That's what music is all about.